one of the reasons why I'm very happy to be talking to James is because I was listening to your early coffee chats and talking about success being at that strategic level and the realization of benefits. And this particular slide, at the bottom diagram comes straight out of a project management textbook. You know, there are these 6 stages in a typical project. And when I saw that diagram, I said, that's very misleading because initiation, planning, development, implementation, benefit, and close down don't take equal lengths of time. Initiation actually takes a very long time. And benefits also is something you want to take a long time because you want to realize benefits over a very long time. But the project itself gets done relatively quickly. And I find that Prince2 and PMBOK, they focus on the project itself. So planning, development, implementation. Yeah. But the conversation you need to be having with your project sponsor is not about what's inside that circle, but it's about realizing the benefits at the other end. So everything you're doing in steps 2, 3, and 4 is to try to realize benefits in step 5. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a very important understanding. And when you talk to the top manager about how do you fill in this template, can you do this, you're actually diverting the sponsor away from what they actually care about and what you as a project manager need to keep the team focused on. Right. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's a very key concept.
Yeah, totally.
I was just going to touch on the difference between project and program management. So I agree, Raymond, that the Prince2 and PMBOK to probably a lesser extent just focus on project management. The challenge, and Hannah, you well know, PM Logic, we focus around program management, so this is very core to us. Mm-hmm. The challenge is organizations need to do both, in my view. So if the risk to a project manager, if you get them accountable or at least responsible for realizing benefits, that means the project goes from potentially something quite simple to something that's quite complicated. So my recommendation is you have another layer, and this is where the managing successful programs framework come in, that the project delivers your time cost scope, and it depends on what's fixed and what's flexing, and Hannah's learning this through the Prince2 Agile. So you agree, you know, what's most important, and the project manager focuses on that and they deliver an output.
Right.
The program layer then focuses around how do I take those outputs and create an outcome or a capability to realize that benefit over time. And organizations are missing that layer typically. So to your earlier point, I absolutely agree. Sponsors, they're overseeing projects and it's just the language doesn't make sense to them because project managers are talking about scope items and issues and PIDs and briefs and status, and they go, what is all this stuff and all these templates? I just want my outcomes.
Right.
If the sponsor was having a program manager reporting to them, the language would be completely different because the project is just one element of that. In PM Logic, we talk about four elements to a program. So there's projects, which is one element. There's the target operating model. So what does that look like once the program's complete? There's benefits, and there's also the organizational aspect. And so having those 4 key quadrants of a diamond, let's say, is what's really required for success, and purpose being a key one. So the challenge with projects often is that, and your initiation phase is very long, often during that initiation phase, it's agreed what's going to be delivered, how long and how much. And some of these projects last for a year, if not longer. So how do you know what date is something going to be delivered in next year, if not the year after? It's near to impossible to do that. And yet projects are set up that way. So using a program layer, actually, you can put gates in and you can say, well, I'm going to approve this project for and Prince2 refers to something called a stage. So I, as a program, I'm just going to approve stage 1, which is going to give me just a piece of research, a data set. So maybe a template, and that's it. But that's actually beneficial because I've now got one of those. And then I'm going to authorize the next stage. And the program can have multiple projects running in parallel to deliver these outputs and control that to best achieve the outcomes ultimately.